Okay, boys, I think we're about what? A year removed, a little bit more from Series 1, 2, and 3 of Upper Decks Hockey 2024-25. I think everybody's probably in agreement. This rookie class is going to go down as probably the biggest one in hockey, especially from the collector's perspective, probably in the last decade. I'd say since the Austin Matthews year. I know we had a lot of hype for Bedard, there was a bit of hype for Caulfield. I'm not entirely sure that anybody is going to pan out to the degree of one of the players we're going to talk in here from a hockey standing overall and from a collector's perspective. So, Series 1 was released October 16th, 2024. Series 2 released March 5th of 2025. Both of those over a year in the rearview mirror. And the extended series released May 29th, 2025. Obviously, Series 2 is the set I think predominantly people are after. Obviously, the one that's the most expensive to still buy in sealed cases, sealed wax. What we're going to look at is historical prices after about a year of all three of these sets coalesced being released. Again, this being a very large rookie class. So let's take a look. We're going to first off break down what the Young Gun set means to hockey. If you're a hockey card collector at all, you know this is the seminal card you want for a player if it's your guy, if you're prospecting on his future, if you figure this Hall of Famer, this guy, it's a guaranteed thing right here. I think a lot of people think that specifically about this particular player. We're looking at Macklin Celebrini, who's just wrapped up a second season with the San Jose Sharks. Phenomenal statistics. The kid has all of the earmarkers of being a perennial all-star in the hunt for Art Ross trophies, Hart trophies, turning around a franchise in Southern California that definitely needs to get over the hump. They were close about a decade ago with Thornton and Marlowe, obviously never got to that Stanley Cup. This young core they're building in San Jose around this gentleman here who got a lot of press at the Olympics. I think he's going places. The hobby seems to think the same. Young Guns base here is what we're looking at. So if you're new to the hockey card collecting hobby, the Young Guns base card, again, like I was saying, it is the one you're looking for. This was from Series 2 from 24-25. Card number 451, Macklin Celebrini. Now, these Young Guns cards, obviously, they are multiple packs to find one. It's about a 50 card checklist from each set. So it's a lot of cards you're looking for, and it's not easy to hit. I think it's 1 in 4 packs, roughly hitting a Young Guns card at retail, I want to say, like in a blaster or in a tin. But in a hobby box, I believe you get 6 Young Guns per hobby box. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was in this year. So here's some other Young Guns cards and some rookie cards from this set. Again, we're using Celebrini as our example. On the left, you see the Young Guns teammates cards. So still got the Young Guns lettering on there. Obviously not as sought after as the individual Young Guns card for the player. This has got Macklin and Will Smith. The high gloss version here, numbered out of 10, Series 2, card number 500. In the middle, you see the Young Guns card. That's the checklist. Again, these have been throughout a lot of the seasons. Not near as sought after as the regular card. You don't see these go up in price too much. These ones specifically, because Macklin's been hot, have gone up a little bit because people just want to be able to play in the market to some degree, and buying his Young Gun right now, raw or otherwise, and as we're going to look at, is relatively expensive. So this one, Series 2, $499, him and Michkov on there. Again, fairly sought after card at the moment. In the long run, will either the teammates or the checklist card be really sought after? I'm not entirely sure. I would bet my bottom dollar on that, but I could be wrong. This out of 10 on the left, high gloss teammates, that's going to be a fair price. And on the right side, a card that I think is really stepping into becoming Macklin's second rookie card, the one that people will supplement for not being able to have a Young Guns card as of yet. Now, extended series number 743. This again in the high gloss, numbered out of 10. Very expensive card when it's like this. But the base version of this, $30, $35. It has jumped 2-3x in the last 6 months, I would say, as his other cards have gotten exceptionally expensive. This card has definitely kept pace with a lot of cards. It's a very nice card, but it's not the Young Gun, obviously, at the end of the day. And we're not going to be covering this card when we're talking about pricing later. Just wanted to show you another example of another rookie card of Macklin that was in this set, not really considered an insert. It's still in the base set. It's way in the extended series, though, like I was saying. So we move on, we take a look at a couple other examples. This stuff, more insert stuff. Upper Deck Canvas Young Gun on the left in color, and the black and white on the right. The right version in the black and white, a little harder to hit. These cards are both somewhat comparable in prices at raw. Like they're nice raw cards. They're very sought after raw, but if you're talking 10-10 comparables to the Young Gun, the Young Gun is definitely preferential across the hobby for sure. But this, I mean, him coming out of the Shark is gorgeous on the left with the color. I think it's a really nice card. Extended Series C360. So like I was saying, the Young Gun of Macklin, the individual Young Gun we looked at first and we're going to look at again, that's from Series 2. This Canvas Young Gun here, this one is from the Extended Series. More examples. So this version here, this stuff is going to be hobby exclusive. You're not going to find any of this in retail. I didn't put the pack odds, but obviously hitting a Macklin with one of these extra parameters, very, very difficult, very sought after. Nothing I own, would like to own, send them my way if you've got them. Silver foil there on the left, beautiful color, nice refractor or prism type of a background. And in the middle you see a speckle there. The gold embossing for Young Guns on these cards as opposed to the silver embossing that you see on the base stuff. And on the back you can see that's the same back as the regular base. There's no designation that it's a silver foil or a speckle. Like if you're in baseball and you're buying Topps Chrome, you hit a refractor, it says refractor on the back. This one doesn't give you any kind of designation on the back, so it's the same back. But we will see in like future versions of the parallel, not silver or speckle, but some outburst and stuff, the backs will change a little bit. So we'll take a look at those. More examples, high gloss to 10, exclusives to 100, and deluxe to 250. So the high gloss on the left, again, gold embossing, says high gloss, numbered out of 10, beautiful card, very, very expensive. In the middle, Upper Deck's exclusives, numbered out of 100, got the red there as well as the gold embossing. It's a very nice card. It's very expensive. My favorite, though, funny enough, numbered out of 250. Maybe I'm just kind of indoctrinated to the color match game, but I really like the blue on blue, numbered out of 250. Probably still not in my price range at the moment. Very nice card, though. I think Macklin Celebrini has considerable upside. The market might not have the upside because the market has been red hot, and I'm not entirely sure historically he's got too much more room to really grow when it comes to where historical top-end hockey prices are, like for other comparable players, if they even have amazing careers to the degree we're all projecting he's going to have. But I do really like Macklin Celebrini, and I love this at a 250 on the right. I think the deluxe is really, really nice. We're looking at a red outburst on the left. Outbursts, I believe, are one per hobby, not the red, but the silver in the middle. Silver in the middle, not numbered, obviously. Red outburst to 25, and there is a gold outburst to 1. From what we all know at the moment in the market, I don't believe it's been found. I know there's a couple of people that have reported there's some bounties out there on it. I believe the bounty was $250,000, I heard. I don't think I would be taking $250,000 necessarily for Macklin Celebrini's one-of-one gold outburst Young Gun, but maybe that's just me and maybe I'm foolish. So like the red outburst on the left, very sought after, beautiful card in hand. Outburst cards are amazing. That card is amazing. The one in the middle, I have actually seen in person a couple of times. It's gorgeous. Like I said, the outbursts are one per hobby box. So when you look at the checklist, you can only hit one out of the entire base set in a hobby box. It's a very, very difficult card still to hit. On the far right, you see that the outburst, here I'll move my mouse over here, you'll see the outburst right there. So you do get yourself a designation on the back that this card is somewhat different. Couple more examples, clear cut cards, same thing, exclusive to hobby. These ones, obviously the back looks entirely different. Acetate feel to these gorgeous cards, well out of my price range. I'm not going to keep saying that. And here we have just a couple more things to tantalize your Macklin Celebrini appetite. On the left, we have a mock-up of what would be the gold one-of-one outburst Young Gun, which is a beautiful card. The middle card is a clear cut, so similar to that, except the autograph variant, and that's numbered out of 10. And on the right, we see Macklin and Michkov on the Young Guns checklist. Also one-of-one gold outburst. You can see the one-of-one right there. Beautiful stuff. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the players, I think it's 6 or 7, that I think really in the last year have not only had their card prices stabilize pretty well and now start to increase, in Macklin's case increase quite a bit, but their games on the ice have started to really like flourish. They look good. They're still in that age range where they've got a lot of room to run, and I'd like to look at some of their prices and what some of the price movement has been, some of the comparables between PSA 10s and RAWs, and so let's take a look at all of that. All right, first up on the list, Series 2 card number 486. You see him here on the left in the Minnesota Wild outfit. He's obviously on the Vancouver Canadians. Zeev Buium, defenseman. He probably isn't going to be someone in the long run. He's just not a points guy to that degree. He's 20 years old right now. I know defenseman, 20 years old, you got to give him time. Maybe. I don't see it. Maybe it's the fact that the Vancouver Canucks aren't that good. 76 games this year, 6 goals, 20 assists, 26 points for Mr. Buium. Base raw going for $15 Canadian. Outburst raw roughly about 80 Canadian. And the canvas raw right around 25. So you see the canvas in the raw a little more sought after. I'm sure with this card, and I'm sure most cards, not a lot of 10 examples of this. People aren't really grading the Zeev Buiums just yet. They're probably grading the outbursts and the numbered stuff, but as far as base Young Guns, not a lot of stuff out there graded. We can take a look at some prices here. Here's an ungraded outburst, $57.93 plus 25 shipping, so you're looking at about $83 there on 15 bids, and you got another example right below it, $73 and $6 shipping, so creeping up on $80, 13 bids there. Over here, cracking $100 when you include the shipping on that same outburst. A canvas raw, $11, $12 shipping on 7 bids. I figured the bids example for someone like Buium was probably going to be a much better look than to buy it now, is because some people impulsively might buy something, but this guy doesn't have the like active market where I could say like there's so many things ending with all these bids, so I figured I'd grab the ones that did have bids. So not as many base looks up here on this one, but over here you see a base raw 1757, but I saw a lot of base raws going for $8 with $8 shipping. So again, when you're looking for cards like this, I would make sure I'm buying. If you're Canadian, I'm Canadian. I'm from Edmonton, so if you're Canadian, look on eBay when you're buying for stuff from Canada. So you're not going to pay $16 shipping from the States. You're going to pay $4 to $6. It's going to keep the price of some of these cards that you're not chasing after with big handfuls of money. It's going to keep the prices a lot lower and more reasonable. So Zeev Buium, good defenseman, probably going to turn out to be a nice coup for the Canucks, who obviously they've lost Quinn Hughes in the deal, but I think Buium's going to be a good defenseman. I'm not entirely sure the collectability in the long run, though. The next player that we're going to look at from this Young Gun set from Series 1, card 244, Logan Stankoven. Logan's over in Carolina now, obviously traded for Rantanen last year. Having a decent little start to his career in Carolina. He's in a nice team if you want to get your offense going, because there's a lot of players on the Carolina Hurricanes that score points. Stankoven is currently 23 years old, just turned 23 here as the season wound down. 81 games played this year, so a nice healthy season. 21 goals, 23 assists, 44 points for Mr. Stankoven, 96 points in the career over 183 games, so he is getting a little bit better points per game wise, but it's not crazy. The uptick isn't huge yet. Prices of base raw about 15 Canadian, outburst raw about $50. You can see comparable prices here on the screen. And this was much like the Buium one, but I did have some more examples of auctions that had ended for the outburst, so I threw them on there. Stankoven had a few less examples for auctions that had ended, so you can see though the base raw Young Gun, very cheap. If you like Stankoven, you could probably buy into it for well under $100 if you were looking for even a nice outburst or two, or if you were looking maybe for the 250 deluxe, you might be able to find one of those. They're out there, definitely. Stankoven, I don't think, again, in my personal opinion, super duper sought after in the long run, and in a collectability sense, not in a fan sense or in a utility on an actual hockey team. I think he can do really good things for the Carolina Hurricanes. Moving on, Matvei Michkov, obviously on the checklist here with Macklin Celebrini. Series 2 is this card, $492 for his Young Gun. The guy is really good, but I'm not entirely sure if it's going to turn into being a force where we're seeing a perennial all-star and the prices just jump exorbitantly. The guy is really good, though. 81 games played, 51 points, 20 goals, 31 assists for a Flyers team that admittingly probably needs all the help that they can get. But Michkov does look like he's going to be some nice help on the horizon for them. He's currently 21 years old at only 130 days, so he's going to only be 21 going into the start of the next season. And I think he's got a lot of good upside. Is he going to be at the peak of the hobby? Maybe not, but in hockey, I feel like this is a name I think we're all going to know, probably going to be in the NHL for a really long time. We got some PSA 10 examples though. PSA 10 base, $230 Canadian on average, and a raw base, we're looking at about $35. So people still right now from last year, they still really like him. I don't blame them. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there, and people really are betting on a lot of upside. You be honest with yourself. Do you see it there? Compare him to other guys that are maybe a year younger than him, like a Celebrini. Would you put money into this, even if it was only a tenth of the money? Because do you really see that money making a whole lot of money off this bet in the future? And if you do, then maybe you're right. And I mean, I could be totally off base, because obviously I'm not a fortune teller, but personally, I don't really run after guys in the middle range like too heavily. If I was buying raw base for $35, if I stumbled into raw base in nice shape for $25, I don't think I was going to tell people no, but I also don't think I'm going to pursue Michkov with like really persistent money leaving my pocket. That's for sure. So here you go. You see some examples of this base card going. You see some examples of the canvas here in raw form, 4309, $19 shipping from ComC. So you're getting that one out of the States for sure. Same thing here. This is from another consignor. Looks like ComC as well, 48.64 and $20 shipping on that one. But the PSA 10 here, 209.95, 17 bids, $34.42 shipping. So all in, you're paying almost $250 for a Michkov PSA 10 Young Gun. But if you really believe in Michkov and you think he's got 2-3 all-star games through his prime, if not maybe more in him, then I can see that as he starts to enter that prime and people start to believe a little bit more, maybe that price does tick up for you a good margin. But that's just not a bet I'm making on my end right now. But maybe that's broke man thinking. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. So you follow your instincts out there. And Cutter Gauthier, another traded from the Flyers here. This is a guy that moved from the Flyers over to the Ducks. Ducks in the first round of the playoffs here, playing against my Edmonton Oilers. That's going to get started, I believe, tomorrow. I'm not really looking forward to the Ducks. We don't have Leon Draisaitl in right now. And the Ducks are a relatively difficult team. I feel like they're going to give us a good series. I know I got a good friend of mine that's a really big Cutter Gauthier fan, really believes in this guy, thinks there's a lot of upside. I kind of agree with him a little bit. You know what? This is the first guy out of the first four guys we've looked at. Gauthier is someone who I do have a little bit of belief in. 76 games played this year, 41 goals, 28 assists, 69 points only. He's really made an uptick in the scoring. There's no question about that. We'll see if the assists really come or if he's just going to be someone who lights the lamp. But when you are in the highlights every night, I do think being a prolific goal scorer through your prime, 40-plus goals, if you can average that 4 or 5 years in a row, it doesn't hurt. Are there guys like Jason Robertson and stuff that score a lot of goals and really don't get the coverage that they probably should? Yeah, that also happens. Unfortunately, it does. Cutter Gauthier, I think, is maybe he's the best one we've seen out of these four. He's definitely on a list of guys that I'm keeping an eye on, and I'm not adverse to putting a little bit of an investment in. I do like Cutter Gauthier. In fact, to be completely transparent, last night myself and a friend of mine got an out of 99 from the Cup rookie autograph of Cutter Gauthier. So can't say as and I'm an Oiler fan, but I feel like he's got an opportunity here in the playoffs to really prove something. PSA 10 base, $475 Canadian roughly. Base raw about $40, and the outburst raw you're looking at around $150 Canadian. That's all in shipping, and these are some averages I just pulled. I'm trying to give you a round number, and again, this is a snapshot of what the market looks like mid-April 2026. But here you can see Cutter Gauthier. This is a PSA 10, $456.68 plus $49 shipping, $481 down here for the same card. Here's an example of your Outburst, a little over $150, even though I say that there, when you include the shipping, and that's on 17 bids. I feel like sentiment for him is definitely starting to creep in the right direction. Will he be able to live up to that sentiment? That is yet to be determined, but I definitely think out of the first 4 guys we've seen, let's take a look back. We looked at Zeev Buium, we looked at Logan Stankoven, Mitvay Michkov, and we obviously cut our Goche, and I think Goche is the top guy in this bottom 4 of this 8. Now, the next guys, okay, everybody up on the list now has an opportunity to really be somebody. So let's talk about it. Jakub Dobish, goalie, Montreal Canadiens, extended series here, 726 is this card. This young, crushing the win column. The Montreal Canadiens are stacked. Suzuki and Caulfield. It's obviously another guy we're going to mention on this list here very shortly. It's pretty crazy in Montreal. It's the absolute blueprint for how to do a rebuild right. You got to admire what they're doing there. I'd love to see the Montreal Canadiens strong in hockey again. I'm a pseudo Montreal Canadiens fan. I'm not going to lie to you. Patrick Roy is my favorite hockey player of all time. So, let it rain, man. I want to see the Oilers and the Habs good. Dobish is amazing. His prices are going crazy. I mean, if you're not paying attention to the market, his prices are really catching some steam right now, and I feel like it's well-deserved. He had a immaculate season. The kid's got all the potential in the world, and Montreal has been known in the past, as I've mentioned, with Patrick Roy, obviously Carey Price, and the list goes on with Ken Dryden and the likes, that the Montreal Canadiens can pump out Hall of Fame goaltenders. So could Dobish be the next guy? It's very possible. Prices here, PSA 10 base, $650 Canadian, roughly. Base Raw is creeping on 100. We're at about $70. PSA 10 Outburst cracked the $1,000 mark. Now we're at around 1,100, and the Outburst Raw is creeping 200. PSA 10 Canvas almost at $200, and the Raw is about 65. Lots of examples here. It's a beautiful canvas card. It's a beautiful look. I really like the entrance. It's amazing. The card actually is the young gun. This one right is really nice too. I really believe in Dobish. I feel like this is one of those opportunities where the only thing that has me held back on really jumping in head first is goalies historically don't have ridiculous value long term. They will hold, they get hot, and then they cool, and it's just not there. And we can look back to tons of goaltenders. And if you walk around a card show, if you're at card shows, I'm in Edmonton again, so if you see me out at a card show, yeah, hey, say hi. Like I said, if you like this video, if you think I'm doing a good job, I don't know if I am or not, but leave a comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I don't know if goaltenders, unless they're absolutely the apex, and even then, nobody walks up to me and asks for Vasilevsky. Don't ask me why. Nobody is checking for Martin Brodeur stuff. Don't ask me why. That's just how it is. I really like Dobish as a hockey player, and I'm, again, Montreal fan bias, but I'm not entirely sure if I would be paying $1,100 for your PSA 10 Outburst, but would I buy potentially a few Raws if I could get them at about $150 and they were nice centering and everything looked relatively decent to potentially try to get them graded? I would do that. And if you're wondering why I use PSA as the examples on all this kind of stuff, it's because PSA is going to have more examples than Beckett or SGC, obviously. They're all now under the same company anyways. It's all Collectors Universe, so it's basically the same company. I feel like PSA has a stronger pop report for modern cards than the other two definitely do, even though Beckett at one point in time was more of a hockey grading company than PSA was, as far as hockey fans were concerned. And I know there's a lot of other companies out there. There's Tag, and there's the Arena Club stuff, and there's CGC, which is huge in comic books. And then up here in Canada, there's, KSA or whatever. I'm just going to stick with PSA. It's the industry leader. You may like them or not like them. I just play by the rules that the market sets. I'm not going to try to fight the market on things. So I'm going to stick with that, but you do what you like. Yeah. So moving on. I think this is the third. Last one. Will Smith, Amazing Shark. Very, very young. Looks like he's going to be amazing. Extended series number 701. PSA 10 base, about 350. Raw is about 65. The Outburst, raw is $175, and the canvas raw $65. He's looks really good. The Sharks are in an amazing rebuild. Him, Misa, Celebrini, they look like they've got a ton of upside in San Jose. It's not going to be there yet. They probably have at least 2 years of building still around them that's really going to have to bring that team together. And all of these guys, I mean, say for Celebrini, who could stay where he's at and just he could progress like a normal young man at this point now, because he's made such grown man strides in such small amount of years. He could make small progress now and still become the elite top end type of player in the league. But these other guys around him are going to need to make still some big steps in progression for that team to get better. And I feel like they're also in need of some veteran leadership, maybe not guys that blow a salary cap up as you're building with a bunch of youth you're going to have to re-sign. But I do think bringing in some other, older gentlemen that have got some playoff experience and stuff like that to really mentor guys through what is inevitably, it's hard. It's hard when you're a world beater your entire life and then you come into the league and you're perennially missing the playoffs. I would imagine for any normal human that starts to weigh on your conscience to a degree. So you don't want these kids to really get downtrodden. And a veteran that's been there before sometimes can help talk some sense into those guys, maybe even more than a coach who's not banging around in the corners and the boards with them, So Will Smith, I think he's great. I don't think I've got necessarily the money invested in him that I would say is like a Celebrini or the next guy we're going to talk about. I do think he's good. I would buy some of his stuff raw and take chances getting graded. I'm not going to be pursuing a lot of like top end graded stuff of his already with the market where it's at, because I do feel like come year 3 or 4, as multiple other rookie sets have come out, he's going to take a little bit of a pullback as far as people just being overexcited, and there'll be better buy-in opportunities. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. But Will Smith, while I think he's great, and I think the Sharks are going to be really good in the future, I don't feel like I'm overexcited about his card market necessarily. Again, those two things very much different from each other. Moving along to somebody who, again, much like Dobish, I really love Lane Hutson. I think Lane Hutson's amazing. Defensemen don't sell much. The Charas of the world, Ray Bourque, Victor Hedman, it doesn't make a difference how many accolades you have at defense. For some reason, after the rookie shine has kind of worn off, defensemen's markets just don't really hold up like strong value, unfortunately. I really would love to get all in on Lane Hutson, because as a player, I feel like this kid potentially could be a generational talent at defense. We might be looking at a very, very young Hall of Famer in the future, and the privilege to be able to watch that type of talent for me as a fan. I'm not just a card collector, even though I definitely am. I'm a fan of these sports, as you can tell, and I just feel very privileged to be able to know that I'm looking at someone who, for the next 20 years, you're going to be entertained and thrilled and awed by what they do in front of you. And to me, that's really something. And I think this kid has all the potential to check all those boxes. And I think we're all going to be very, very happy we got to watch his career unfold. Montreal Canadiens, again, they are on fire with these young guys. Series 1, 229, the young gun, beautiful card, that jersey. I mean, right? Look at the jersey. It's a gorgeous look. Price is PSA 10 base, $850. I can't say that I see anything wrong with that. Base raw, about $140. I actually feel like with the Schaefer cards, we're just over $400 raw, and now to look at this and see his base raw is only $140. I do think Schaefer's really good as well. I actually think Hudson's going to be better than Schaefer in the long run. I might be wrong about that. That's just my hunch. But for the disparity in those prices, I think as far as Schaefer or Hutson, as you can see, Schaefer still basking in the light of the rookie shine in the hockey world. But Lane Hutson's cards, I think, have a much stronger buy-in potential. This is not purchasing advice. This is just what I'm thinking off the top of my head. PSA 10 canvas, $300. Canvas raw, $180. Do I have I don't like the canvas I don't like cards that are horizontal. I don't know if that's just me. Am I being a bit of a stickler? I just don't think they look nice with the label if you get them graded. So that's going to be a thing we're going to see here with the next one too. That might be the only thing I don't like about the next card, or the next version of the Young Gun in canvas. with the next card, but the same thing with this one. See, with the Dobish canvas, he was standing straight up. It was a vertical card, but these horizontal ones, not my bag. Lane Hudson definitely is. Mark my words, this kid's going places, and you're getting a chance to watch it. On the last spot of the list, first spot of the list, I don't know what you'd call it, Macklin Celebrini Series 2, 451. Oh, I didn't put a canvas on here. If we go all the way back, or if you check it out, the canvas, again, horizontal card. Beautiful card, love it. Don't like the way horizontal looks necessarily. This is doing amazing. If you've been following the Macklin market, and I'm going to do a video that further breaks all of the Macklin rookie market down. I'm going to go through all the sets, all the parallels, all the everything. We're going to go through it all. We're going to do it together. We're going to hold each other's hands. It's going to be a blast. We're going to love this. I love this already. So this card, though, this is the one. If you see this out and about and you see this in a base raw and it looks just phenomenal and it is in and around this, you're doing good. If it's way, way below this, and I'm telling you, if you know, and just call me and I'll come get it, because I've been trying to buy numbered high-end auto stuff of his, to be 100% honest, for a while. I've been making a lot of deals. I do have a lot of numbered stuff of his. I do have a lot of patch stuff of his. I've yet to get an autograph. I have made a lot of moves on them, but man, they've slipped through my fingers every time, it seems like. But that's okay. We're in pursuit. At the moment, the market is very, very saturated. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of money moving around. There's a lot more bids. It's definitely kind of overwhelming, and I feel a little overpriced, so I'm not making any rash decisions. When I go into purchasing things, I always try to have a really fixed idea of where the market is, where those specific cards from that card set are valued by other collectors in regards to the other cards available for similar prices, and I'm always looking at historical prices. So I'm weighing a lot of things, and I never really let my feelings take my wallet places I wasn't comfortable with. So I always have kind of a set idea of what the price should be that I'm bidding on. And unfortunately, with his market so hot, everything's been driving itself up. So when people say, hey, you got to pay comps, go look at the Macklin Celebrini market. Everybody's paying over comps. That's how these prices keep going up. PSA 10 base, $2,500. Golly, that's expensive. PSA 9 base, $650 Canadian. Like I said, PSA raw, 450 plus. I've seen them go as high as 650, 700. Like, I'm not kidding you. And again, the market's been hot. Sometimes people have it on them and they got it like that and they're not really tripping. Like, if you're selling it and they want it, they're just like, yo, bro, just give it. Or a lot of times I think it's predicated on the fact that these raws, we know a lot of them have been sourced to be graded. So the few of them out there that really haven't, and someone looks at them and they can tell this card looks like this is probably a 9 and maybe a 10, they're going to pay a premium on that raw card when it's something exceptionally sought after. This Macklin Celebrini Young Gun definitely happens to be sought after at the moment, and I could see well into the future as well, maybe until hockey card collecting dissolves into nothingness, because I'm not sure what's going to change rather than catastrophic event, and fingers crossed we don't see any of that. Macklin Celebrini. What a set. 2024, 25, Upper Deck Young Guns. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a full breakdown on a bunch of Celebrini rookie cards, giving you guys all sorts of my autistic looks at things. And we're also going to be looking at some Topps Chrome football coming up. And I don't know. Have you seen the new Flair, Upper Deck Flair? It's been since the 90s since they've released a Flair set. They did a Flair showcase in like 2006. But Flair, they re-released this set this year with the Schaefer rookie and the Demidov. Wow. Some of the subsets, the inserts, they're not really remarkable. In fact, I find them quite underwhelming. I'm going to do a review on these and give you guys some examples and some of the like first week pricing that I've seen go by. But the base cards, they're gorgeous. These are some, and I know people are not, it's never going to overtake the Young Gun. I'm just having a bit of a glazing moment of the great work, Upper Deck. Because I saw those and immediately off rip were smitten. I think they look amazing. Going to be a review on that coming up. Like I said, Topps Chrome football. We're going to look at a review on that. Some Celebrini rookies, some Mickey Mantle stuff. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. Subscribe, like the video. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah. None of this was financial advice.